Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's another draw preview and prediction video, and we have an absolutely stacked WTA 500 at the Abu Dhabi Open. We're going to be breaking it down. I'm going to be going through every single first round match. We're going to work our way through the draw, and ultimately, I will give you guys my champion. Before we do get into it, though, remember to that like button. Do subscribe if you're new, and do leave a rating or review if you are listening on a podcast platform. Okay, let's get into this then because there's a lot that we need to discuss because this is an absolutely stacked draw. Honestly, it really is. And I'm not really sure where to start. So we're going to start from the top, as we always do, with Elena Rybakina. She has a bye, and there's a lot of noise around her after she split ways with Goran Ivanisevic. They'd only worked together for two tournaments, United Cup and Australian Open. There's been a lot of noise, of course, around her previous coach, who she split with, Vukov, who it seems like Rybakina wants to get back with as a coach. He's been floating around, watching her matches, etc., from the start of the year or turn of the year, and I think it's inevitable they probably will end up forming another coach-player relationship. However, he's under investigation by the WTA Tour, so I'm unsure what will happen if, for example, they give him a lengthy ban. Then, yeah, I mean, she'll have to find a different coach, I would assume. So yeah, TBD, but it's clearly not helping her. I don't think the not drama, but the noise around this situation. But she's got a bye in the first round, and it'll be intriguing to see how she handles the outside noise because we've seen players like Yannick Sinner, Iga Swiatek, they seem to be or have handled the outside media attention a lot better than a lot of other players might. And is she in that category with them, or is she in the category where it's going to really affect her? I guess we'll find out. So she's got a bye, and then we've got two qualifiers going up against each other in Sonay Cartel and Katie Volynets. Both players have had a really good 12 to 18 months. Sonny Cartel, of course, made a decent run at the Wimbledon tournament last year. Katie Volynets as well qualified. She lost to eventual champion Barbara Krejcikova in the early rounds at Wimbledon, and she's also had some decent runs at a few small tournaments as well. Both very talented. I'm actually going to go with the American Katie Volynets. She's very young. I think she's got a lot in the locker. For Sonay Cartel, she had a good year last year, as I said, but I think she's a little bit limited in her game. So it'll be a very intriguing match because I think both players don't possess ridiculous power from the baseline. There's going to be a lot of counterpunching, a lot of intelligent play, and a lot of tactics and employed, and it'll be more like a chess match than a blockbuster, all action packed hitting contest from the back of the court. Wan Yu plays Sonobe Wakana, the qualifier from Japan, with Wan Yu. Then we've got a ridiculously good matchup in Ons Jabeur versus Elena Ostapenko. Now, Ostapenko, I think, is going to be really frustrated with Jabeur and her style, not as a person, but just in terms of her ability as a tennis player. I think Jabeur has found some decent form. I watched her at the Australian Open. I was impressed with the level that she was showing, and she lost a very tight match in the end to Emma Navarro. She had her chances there. So good to see her back to almost her best. And she was causing fits to some of the other players. So I think Ostapenko is going to be one of those players. I want to go with Jabeur. She also likes playing in the Middle East. Yulia Putintseva, number 4 seed, has a bye. And then we've got two wild cards in former Wimbledon champion Marketa Vondrousova, who unfortunately has not been able to replicate that form from Wimbledon 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, since. It's been a real difficult 18 months for her. I think, one, because she's clearly been struggling with niggles and injuries, but two, the form just hasn't quite been there as well, I think. I'm going to go with Emma Raducanu, the former US Open 2021 champion. I have a feeling that Emma is going to be able to find some good tennis here. She had a decent run at the Australian Open, beat some good players, Alexandrova, who, yeah, I mean, Alexandrova is a solid player. So that was a really good win for Raducanu. She also beat Anisimova as well, very talented, of course, American. Of course, she ended up losing to Iga Swiatek, but when Iga was cleaning up people left, right, and centre, apart from, of course, the eventual champion in Madison Keys, who she lost to in a final set tiebreaker. So I'm going to go with Emma, and I'm hoping she can make a decent run here because there's been a lot of question marks around when she's going to finally start coming to form and really making those deep runs at tournaments, whether it be a Grand Slam or even just a 500. I mean, if she were to win a 250, I think people would look and say, look, okay, yeah, she's on the right track. So these types of titles are still really important for her at this stage of her career, and she needs to build up momentum, and that is going to be really important for the rest of the year. Bencic, wildcard, plays Shramkova. Look, Bencic, after coming back from having a baby at the back end of last year, I was super impressed with the fact she went into challenges and just said, look, you know what? I'm going to get match practice. I'm going to work my way up. I'm going to shake off the rust. And I'm not above playing challenges. She's an Olympic gold medalist. She is a child prodigy. I think a lot of people would have thought she would have won a slam in her career. She still has time. And she made a really good run at the Australian Open and made the fourth round in her first Grand Slam since having a child. I'm going to go with Bencic to get the win there. Samsonova to beat Polina Kudermetova. And I'm going to go with Fernandez to beat Alexandrova. But Alexandrova is in good form, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously, we were talking about her beating or being beaten by Emma Raducanu, but she just won the WTA Linz tournament. She beat Yashimska, Mukhova, Martic, Sasnovich. Who are, I mean, come on. Mukhova, 6-love, 6-4. That is pretty impressive, no? Just me? Maybe just me. But yeah, very, very impressive. So I'm actually going to go with her to get the win in the first round anyway. Caroline Garcia wildcard plays Lulu Sun. Great to see her get wildcard. I'm going to go with Garcia. I think, she's going to enjoy the courts at the Abu Dhabi Sports Council or Mubadala Abu Dhabi Open even. So looking forward to seeing her really put her best foot forward. Look, I mean, it would be great to see her make some deep runs. She plays such an exciting brand of tennis. And she clearly is enjoying her time back on court. She's got a renewed love for the game. So I'm hoping personally that she makes some good runs because I think she's really good for women's tennis. And there's not many players that play like her. She steps in so far inside the baseline to return second serves, sometimes even first serves. Super aggressive on the return. Big server, great hands in the net, tries to move forward and volley. She's almost like a 70s or 80s male or female player at the time, just very old school. And I love it. I absolutely love it. Kessler plays Kruger in the first round. We'll go for qualifier Kessler there. Kasatkina has a bye. Pavlyuchenkova, who had a really impressive Australian Open run, losing, of course, eventually to Arina Sabalenka in the quarterfinal stage. She plays Sophia Kenin, who qualified. And we'll go Kenin, actually, to cause the upset. I do think Kenin is a really difficult opponent for a first round, especially given she had to come through qualifying. She'll be sharp. Zarazua qualifier plays Lynette. I'm going with Lynette there, though. Noskova to beat Freck, and Badosa has a bye. Badosa will be chuffed that she's the number 2 seed. Rybakina should get through Volynets, and Jabeur should get through 1U. I'm going to go with Raducanu to put in save. That'll be a tough one, but I think Raducanu can navigate her way through it. Bencic, Samsonova is going to be a tough one for Bencic, but we'll go for Bencic. Garcia to beat Alexandrova, and Kasatkina to beat Kessler. Sophia Kenin to beat Lynette, and I'm going to go with Badosa to beat Noskova. Noskova, by the way, is super talented, but Badosa's played some really good tennis, especially at the Australian Open. only a few weeks back, and I just have a feeling that if she can carry that forward now, it's going to be really difficult to beat her, especially for the players outside of that top 3, 4, 5 group of players who, of course, have been winning slams and or at least going very deep at slams. But yeah, that level from Badosa from the Australian Open, she translates that into this tournament. She's going to be difficult to beat. So that gives us quarterfinals of, I mean, incredible quality. Rybakina and Jabeur, of course, a replay of the Wimbledon 2022 final where Jabeur lost. Jabeur then got revenge in 2023, where she then, of course, made the final again and lost to Vondrousova. Look, I mean, in a normal scenario, I would pick Rybakina because Rybakina in the last 2 years has been overall a better player than Jabeur. She's just been playing better tennis, I would say, level wise. But given the coaching situation, given that Jabeur started to play better, the tournament, I'm actually going to go with Jabeur. I've got 2 wild cards. I've got 3 wild cards and a qualifier in my quarterfinals. So that's 5 non-seeded players, including Jabeur. I mean, that's crazy. Just shows the depth, though, of the women's tour that I have belief in these types of players. I'll go with Kasatkina to beat Caroline Garcia and Badosa to beat Kenin. That leaves me with Raducanu and Bencic. I think both will be tired if they get to the stage, if I'm being honest. Raducanu doesn't tend to hold up physically well after a few matches. She hasn't historically, probably because she hasn't made a lot of deep runs since that US Open win. This is a very ambitious set of picks by me, in all honesty, but I'm going to go with Bencic to get the win. The semi-finals, so I've gone for 2 very ordinary picks with Badosa, Kasatkina in one semi-final, number 2 versus number 3 seed. And I've gone for unseeded Ons Jabeur versus wildcard and Belinda Bencic. And in saying that, of course, Ons Jabeur has made 3 Grand Slam finals. Bencic has won Olympic gold. It's not like they don't have pedigree, but in terms of current form anyway, this is definitely left field. You know what? I'm going to go with Jabeur to get the win against Bencic. And I'm going to go with Badosa to beat Kasatkina. So I'm going with the Jabeur Badosa final, which would be really cool because they are also very good friends. And I think that Badosa will get the win. I think this is going to be a big tournament for her. I've just got the feeling that she is waiting in the wings to win a tournament. And she's going to potentially have, if she stays fit, I think she'll potentially have a career best year. She's pieced it together mentally, and the level is definitely there. The head-to-head as well between these 2 players is 4-1 in favor of Badosa. In saying that, they last played in 2023, and Badosa won in Rome. Before that, they played in Stuttgart. Badosa won in 3 sets. Indian Wells 2021, Badosa won. Jabeur won in 2021, Miami. Look, there's really not much to talk about because they haven't played in all. Well, it would have been a year and a half, and when they last played, it was on clay. So, not much to talk about, if I'm being honest. But she still does need the head-to-head. You know, they have, of course, improved or changed since then, but not enough for me to sit here and say that the head-to-head means absolutely nothing. And I think the form that Badosa's shown coming into the tournament from the Australian Open back in the last year as well is enough for me to say that, look, Jabeur, given that she hasn't played a lot of matches this year after coming back, it'll probably be a very ambitious pick anyway to see her make the final. But because it's a shorter tournament, it's a 500, so they start from the round of 32, it is doable. It'll be a tough ask, but if it opens up, then I don't see why it can't be possible. Let me know in the comment section below who you've picked and why. I've got Paula Badosa as my Mubadala Abu Dhabi Open champion. Thanks very much, guys. Stay safe and well. We'll see you on the next video.